In her mind, a woman will literally rewrite the whole narrative of your relationship. She will mentally move on, grieve for you, and practice the breakup speech. All because you didn't give her what she so badly wanted but wouldn't ask for. What's the worst part? I'm going to tell you everything so you won't even know it happened till now. I'll begin by making a confession. It's not because the subject is uncomfortable that I nearly didn't make this video. I have no shame, I promise. However, what I'm about to reveal violates an unspoken code that women have been quietly defending for many years. In a multi-year study on communication gaps in romantic relationships, researchers at the University of Texas discovered something that should truly worry any man viewing this. 72% of women acknowledged that they wanted certain behaviors from their partner that they had never asked for out loud, not because they didn't remember. They feel that asking would completely deprive the behavior of its significance, not because it wasn't significant. Instead than having to explain what she wants to you, she would prefer to go without it. That's not being stubborn. That is not a weakness. Wiring is that. You will continue to lose women who were totally in love with you if you don't comprehend that wiring, and you won't be able to figure out why they left. I gave this video the title Dirty for a reason, though it's probably not what you're thinking. Yes, some of these are physically intimate, but most of them are dirty in other ways. She suppresses these thoughts because society told her that wanting them would make her excessive, needy, conventional, and intense. She puts things in a mental vault, locks it, swallows the key, and hopes that you will figure it out somehow. You have to sort it out today, though. And I'll warn you, number 3 on this list is the one that, without a single disagreement, silently and covertly ends the majority of relationships. Things simply deteriorate until one day she's gone and you're clutching your phone and wondering when everything changed. So when we arrive, pay attention. Let's get started. The 7th, use physical assurance to stop her overanalyzing. This moment is different for every lady. She's going downhill. Perhaps it has to do with work. Perhaps it has to do with anything her mother said. Perhaps it has to do with a remark her friend made 3 days ago, which she has been meticulously analyzing in her head. There are 17 tabs open in her brain, and none of them are loading correctly. The majority of men attempt to make things right in this circumstance. They begin troubleshooting. So, have you attempted to speak with your supervisor? Perhaps simply don't reply to her text, and that makes great sense logically. The issue was found, a solution was provided, and the case was closed. Here's what she genuinely desires, though, and what she won't ask for. She wants you to approach her silently, embrace her to your chest, and simply hold there or grasp her face in both hands and kiss her forehead. Just your physical presence conveying something that words constantly fall short of. No counsel, no criticism. I'm present. I'm strong. I'm not leaving, so feel free to collapse for a moment. Physical touch can lower cortisol levels by up to 31% in a matter of minutes, according to more than 100 research published by neuroscientist Dr. Tiffany Field, who created the Touch Research Institute at the University of Miami. Here's what the data misses, though. The emotional burden of someone you trust touching you without asking. That goes beyond simply relieving tension. That's physical safety. Snorts. She won't ask for this because it seems like a sign of weakness to beg for comfort. The majority of women are conditioned to take care of everything on their own. It feels like a formal protest against her own independence to want to be detained. She falls away on her own, silently resenting you for not noticing. You don't have to read her thoughts. You must read her shoulders. You can tell if they're tight, if she's stopped talking, or if she's browsing through her phone while obviously not paying attention. Never inquire as to what is wrong. Simply get closer and provide the intervention her nervous system so desperately needs. 6th, not just in private times, but in all of them, say her name. When someone you're attracted to says your name, there's a neural rush. According to a study published in the journal Brain Research, hearing your own name causes particular left hemisphere areas linked to identity processing and self-representation to become active. The only term in any language that your brain considers to be essentially yours is your name. Apply that to intimacy now. But it goes beyond mere physical closeness. Yes, without a doubt. However, there are also the calm times when you are cooking together and he calls your name before requesting that you give him the salt. He calls your name to get you to turn around so he can see you when you're walking ahead of him. The fact that Sarah appears in his story by name, not as my girlfriend or she, but as her, when he tells a story to his friends and adds, "So then Sarah turns to me." The majority of males use pet names by default. Sweetheart, sweetheart, sweetheart. They're familiar and cozy, yet they're also generic. At some point, every woman he's ever dated was undoubtedly a babe. However, her name is unique to her. Additionally, it elicits a reaction that pet names just cannot match when you use it at an intense moment. a whispered confession, a heated fight when you stop and mention her real name, or a moment of intimacy where her is the only word you can manage. Because it would seem forced, she will never ask you to use her name more frequently. It feels instinctive, which is its strength. It's as if you're so focused on her that your mind instinctively goes to her name. Fifth, instead of reacting with envy, respond to another man's attention to her with composed dominance. I'll be specific because this one is hot and I know it will cause some controversy. She doesn't want you to cause a commotion or start a quarrel. That's not appealing. It is a liability. She does not, however, want you to be totally indifferent. She will notice if another man is obviously flirting with her and you just sit there drinking without reacting. The sweet spot is calm, measured possessiveness. She doesn't detect, wow, he's so secure. Instead, she registers he doesn't care enough to respond. You approach her and put your hand on her lower back. Perhaps you shake hands with the other guy and say something like, I see exactly what you're doing and I'm not even slightly threatened, but she's with me and we both know it. Perhaps you might introduce yourself. Perhaps you just use a casual smile that conveys complete control of the situation to reroute the discussion. Doctor and evolutionary psychologist. According to David Buss, women consistently regarded proportional mate guarding to be attractive. Proportionality is the key. She feels in control when it's too much. She feels devalued since there is not enough. However, there is a very appealing middle ground where you accept the circumstance without becoming unstable due to it, both consciously and unconsciously. The unclean part. She might even take a little pleasure in the situation. Your answer conveys to her your confidence, your investment, and your readiness to claim her without imprisoning her, not because she wants to make you envious. The difference between claiming and caging is where most guys make grave mistakes. Fourth, remove something from her dish covertly. Almost no one is discussing this subtle killer of female attractiveness. Women reported considerably higher levels of chronic stress than men in every category measured by the American Psychological Association's 2023 Stress in America survey, including work, family, household management, emotional labor, logistics, and scheduling. She constantly operates an unseen project management system in her mind, and the most of it goes unobserved. She wants you to find one item on her mental to-do list without her having to assign it. Instead, she wants you to accomplish it entirely, discreetly, and without expecting a parade. An oil change is required for the vehicle. It's finished. The kitchen tap is dripping, she said. By the time she gets home, it will be fixed. Grocery shopping has been causing her anxiety. The refrigerator is full. It wasn't because she asked, but rather because you listened and took action. In her book Fair Play, researcher Eve Rodsky refers to this as cognitive labor. According to her findings, women bear about 70% of this unseen strain in the majority of heterosexual marriages. Furthermore, the chores themselves are not the cause of the fatigue. It comes from being the only one who can recall the existence of the tasks. There's an almost embarrassingly strong surge of relief and fascination when a man takes initiative without being instructed. She feels genuinely taken care of. The noticing was infrequent, not because the task was difficult. She won't ask you to do this since, paradoxically, asking you to remove something from her plate is something more she has to deal with. She has completed more work than she would have if she hadn't had to define the assignment, explain it, and inquire as to whether you completed it. The initiative is what makes it magical. The magic is when she returns home and realizes that something has already been completed without her having to give it a second thought. In a world where she needs to handle everything, the man who takes care of things for her becomes the only place she can truly relax, which makes men who are skilled at clearing their throats addictive. Thirdly, this is the relationship killer I forewarned you about. Once you have her, she wants you to go after her. That's all. That's the whole point, and it's astounding how many men totally give up on this as soon as they start dating. You were amazing when we were dating. You scheduled dates, sent her a text first, and complimented her without being asked. You felt as though you were deliberately selecting her in every encounter. You didn't take being with her for granted, as if it were a privilege. Then you were comfortable, which is great, but you stopped doing the things that made her fall in love with you somewhere between comfort and complacency. You assumed the work was done, not because you lost interest. This is the degradation of leaning toward, according to Dr. John Gottman, whose study has predicted divorce with over 90% accuracy. According to his research, the turning toward rate for couples who ultimately separated was only 33%, whereas the rate for couples who remained together was above 80%. She doesn't require elaborate romantic gestures on a weekly basis. She needs proof, repeated, indisputable proof that you would still pick her today. That you would still go after her if you had met her for the first time today afternoon. that she is no longer a piece of furniture in your life. Saying, "I need you to pursue me again," feels desperate. Thus, she will never express this. Instead, she becomes quiet, retreats, and begins to invest less because you invested less first. By the time the conversation occurs, if it does at all, the distance has solidified into something much harder to undo, like a random Tuesday text that says, "I was just thinking about you and had to tell you." Takes 4 seconds to send and can sustain weeks of emotional connection. A planned date night, not because she asked, but because you refuse to stop being the man who makes plans and sends over 1,000 "I love you" messages on autopilot. Men who pursue their partners long after the chase is over are the ones whose partners never stop being in love with them. The men who stop, they become roommates gradually, painlessly, and then all at once. Secondly, be verbally express your desire for her. The majority of men believe that women want to hear that they are attractive, and they do, but "you're beautiful" is the standard. It's like giving 15% of the expected snorts, and it doesn't make an impact. What she really wants, what makes her repeat what you said at 2 in the morning, is the specificity of your snorts. You're not attractive, but the way you tilt your head when you're thinking about something serious makes it physically difficult for me to focus. I'm not attracted to you, but I forgot I was in the middle of a conversation when I saw you walk across the room at that party. You don't look good, but that thing you did with your hair today has distracted me since this morning, and it's getting to be a problem. The dirty element here is intensity. She wants to feel like your attraction to her is a little too strong. That raw, almost confessional quality where you're not giving a compliment but admitting to a condition is what makes women feel truly desired. She won't ask for this because you can't ask for obsession. Instead, it must come from genuine overwhelm, and the wonderful thing is that if you truly feel it, all you have to do is stop censoring yourself. She wants you to physically guide her, move her, and reposition her with confidence and without asking first. I saved this for last because it's the one that makes women lose their composure the fastest and the one that men are most reluctant to do. You're just not saying them out loud. Start saying them out loud. Palm against her lower back, guiding her through a doorway, hand on her thigh beneath the table, fingers laced through hers, pulling her in a different direction because you spotted something you want to show her. Hand on her waist, guiding her to the other side of the pavement so she's not walking next to traffic. Standing behind her, both hands on her hips, gently turning her towards something. According to a study published in Evolutionary Behavioral Sciences, women rated physical assertiveness, which is defined as confident, not aggressive physical guidance, as one of the top 5 indicators of a desirable partner. At the same time, this behavior activated associations with protection, decisiveness, and physical confidence. The psychology behind this is primal. Physical movement conveys your presence in your body, comfort in your strength, and confidence enough to occupy space and include her in it. She won't ever say, "I wish you would just grab me and move me where you want me," because it functions completely outside of language. You can't fake this with words or text it. It only exists in real time, in the electricity of physical proximity, and in the confidence to close that distance without hesitation. You become the man she compares every fictional character and every fleeting fantasy to every time your hand finds her waist and reroutes her. And you stand right there with your hand on her back, demonstrating that reality is superior. Thus, you have 7 things that women have been secretly hoping for and obstinately refusing to express since the dawn of recorded romantic history. The fact that you watched the entire video indicates to me that you're not the type of man who assumes he already knows everything. Rather, you're the kind who genuinely wants to understand. That trait alone puts you ahead of 90% of the men she's ever met. However, knowledge without action is just trivia. I didn't make this video so you could save these as fascinating facts. I made it possible for you to use them tonight, tomorrow, in the next quiet moment when you have to decide between being cautious and doing something that genuinely makes her feel something. Always go with the second option. Now, here's something that connects everything in a way that could actually alter your next encounter with her. While you've been sitting here discovering what she secretly wants, she's been watching YouTube, which you're probably blind to. The video that appears on your screen right now is called 4 Clear Signs She's Already Chosen You But Isn't Telling You. And if you don't watch it next, everything you just learned becomes only half the equation. Knowing what she wants is powerful, but knowing when she's already decided you're the one is the difference between a man who's trying and a man who's already won without realizing it. In many cases, she's already made her decision about you. Go watch it now. I'll see you on the other side. It's right there.